Canada, the Feds this week unveiled their long-awaited Indo-Pacific strategy. $244 million earmarked for that. What did you make of the announcement and some of the details thereof?
Yeah, Chris, it was great to finally see this. I think that there's been a lot of build up to it, a lot of attention being paid to it. We've seen over the last month some the government start to announce some things. Agriculture and money for an office was one of those early announcements. But this is this is a region that is the region of opportunity for agriculture. If you look at the growth, not just in population growth, but income growth that's driving demand for higher quality foods. Canada's very well positioned to meet that, and so it's great to see the government think differently about this and finally release this more fulsome approach, this guiding document for Canada and the region.
Is this an admission that we have put too many metaphorical eggs in the China basket?
China is an interesting challenge, right? So it's been very public, the difficulties in the region, the actions that they've taken on Canadians themselves, on Canadian exporters, on Canadian businesses, on their own people, right? Cause a lot of people a lot of concern. They do have a demand. They still need to feed their people, right? Like there still is a legitimate need for food in China, and there is this opportunity for agriculture and food to be a supplier to them. This isn't, again, this isn't a matter of us not selling our critical minerals to China that they may need for their businesses. Their people need to eat. Their people need to eat just as much as a Canadian needs to eat. And so, trying to find that right balance and relationship around how do we make sure that we're doing our part? How do we make sure that we're selling our food, that we're taking advantage of the economic opportunities, but also helping ensure that they've got food security in China is important. But again, this does put it in that broader context in the region where there are food security concerns in many different countries. It doesn't get as much attention, but we also know that China does hold a significant amount of reserves that it effectively keeps off the market for others. And so how do we, again, think more broadly about our role there? Again, China's never going to go away. It's going to continue to be an important place, but we need to do a better job of standing up for our interests as the strategy points out, and then looking more broadly as well.
And when you do shift focus, at least somewhat, to other countries in the region, where does the opportunity lie for Canada?
It really is. There are opportunities in many countries in the region, right? So we know, for example, that in Indonesia is a major wheat importer. If you look at Singapore, it's a major trading hub. If you look at South Korea, there's becoming an increasing market for beef. India is its own unique set of challenges, but really, like, across the region, there really is important opportunities for a whole wide variety of agriculture commodities. One of the concrete things that was in it was the investment in a agriculture trade office in the region that'll give us more boots on the ground, a better sense as to what actually is unfolding in the marketplace, and better support and facilitate Canadian exporters as they look to gain access into the market and to do more from a trade perspective.
When you've got billions of mouths to feed, as you've pointed out, what is the impact of being more open to sending Canadian product, over the Pacific on, the 38 million of us back here at home?
Yeah, I think there isn't necessarily a huge, like, often one of the things that reason why exporters like consumers in the Indo-Pacific is that they eat different things than we in Canada. And so if you think about beef and pork, for example, they're eating cuts of beef and cuts of pork that aren't worth as much or don't have the same demand here in Canada. So that's kind of a good example where it really is a win-win. We get to meet their needs for food, and we get to it actually makes it easier for us to meet our domestic needs as well. all of these other products, the economics are usually pretty clear that it makes sense to feed Canadians first. I don't think that there's any reason or concern to think that, increased exports to the region are going to have any impact on domestic food security here, or food prices here. Really, it just sends another signal that we need to keep producing more food to feed people all around the world.